a retired U.S. Army officer, higher education administrator, and now a prolific independent author. After decades of service in two of the most structured institutions in America, this author discovered a completely new calling, telling stories that needed to be shared. He didn't begin writing till later in his life. After retirement, thanks to the encouragement of his wife, he joined a local writing group where his natural storytelling began to shine. Today we meet Tom Hennessey. Welcome to Writing Inspiration with Marquee Books. Hello, Tom. How are you? How are you feeling today?
I'm well, Daniel. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. So, tell me, Tom, what do you usually do for a living?
Well, I am retired from two different avocations. I,
Okay.
I spent a little more than 28 years on active duty with the Army and spent a little over 20 years in higher education as a professor and as an administrator.
Okay. And tell me, what changed to give you this impulse to become a writer right now?
Primarily because I joined when we moved here in 2011. I joined a writer's workshop, and we meet twice monthly, and we have a prompt, and we write short stories, and we critique each other's stories and read them, etc. And that encouraged me to expand on something that I had started about 15 years prior to that, when another veteran and I were literally exchanging war stories. And he encouraged me to write them down, and I did. And so actually my first book is a compilation of stories about my Army experience and my higher education experience. And the reason it's titled Fairy Tales and War Stories is for two reasons. Do you know what a fairy tale, what are the first words of a fairy tale? Once upon a time, right?
Yeah, were a compilation of stories from many authors in Europe, and they usually were made to teach children lessons and maybe scare them a bit, so they became, right, sorry.
But Daniel, the words start with once upon a time, more often than not. And a war story starts with, now this is no BS. The challenge that I give the reader is, which is a fairy tale and which is a war story. And so it's about it's about 25 stories all together.
That was your debut work?
It works, yeah.
So tell me, when did you start writing? You mentioned that it's with something that has the years, but I mean, when did you publish your first one?
The first one was published in 2023, in the fall of 2023, by an independent publisher. And then I published the next one on KDP, and the next one on Page Publishing, and then the fourth one on Booksby. And I'm open now to what the fifth one is going to be published by. So we'll see.
Oh, so you only started on 2023?
Well, that was the first publication, yes.
Okay. So you have been releasing every 6 months, maybe?
About, yeah. I spend about 6 months on each book, yeah.
That's great. So tell me, did you maybe get inspired by other authors?
No.
Well, yeah, you work with the word stories from others, so it's basically like collecting already from the source.
Yeah. I wrote the first book from personal experience. I wrote the second book as a historical fiction. I wrote the second book as historical fiction, and then the fourth book, again, historical fiction. The second book and the third book were about the British in Mesopotamia and then the British in Afghanistan. And so it was pretty much my passion for history, particularly military history. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. So right now you're working on your fifth one then?
Correct. But this one is very personal. On one of my duty assignments, I had the responsibility of conducting notifications of next of kin for soldiers that were killed in combat, and then serving as a survivor assistance officer for soldiers that were families that were of soldiers that were killed in combat. And it's it's a very emotional, as you can imagine, uh, event, and how it's fictionalized, and it talks about how a young officer overcomes his PTSD that is triggered by these events. You know what PTSD is?
No, of course. Is
Yeah,
post
post
trauma?
traumatic stress,
Yes, post.
post traumatic stress disorder.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow, it sounds heavy. I can see that this will probably maybe be your magnus opus, as my son say.
I don't know. It's been difficult to write because
So
it's a
personal.
bit too personal. Yeah.
So, did you ever thought this will happen in your life, like becoming a writer after
No,
retiring?
no, never.
Okay, okay. Did you ever have like hobbies that help you like while you're writing?
I can't say that I have. I think the only breaks I take are to play golf and socialize with friends and family. But other than that, not really. No. I obviously, as a historian, I read a lot, and so I have a number of friends who are historians, and we share our books and read a lot.
Okay. Oh, so you have like a support network, like people that help you edit or do proofreading or stuff?
Yes, and they're very good at it, and very honest, and sometimes quite brutal.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, okay. So how long did it take you to get published? Like you mentioned, you use a traditional one. Usually, you wait 6 months for that to happen.
Yeah, quite honestly, the first one was by a very small independent publisher, and I met her at a book fair, and she was intrigued by the book, and she actually ended up designing the book cover and did some of the editing for me. And it the sad part about it is she decided that it wasn't something that she wanted to do anymore, so she shut down her publishing. But the book is available on Amazon, as are
Oh,
the other three books. Yep.
you publish it yourself after that. I get it.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
It's fine. Honestly, there's pros and cons in both ways. Traditional might seem easier, but to get accepted by one, it's very difficult. Um, and self-publishing usually because you have to do marketing and everything yourself. That's
Oh
usually
yeah.
more difficult, but it's less stressful in a way.
In a way. Yeah, and the other thing too, Daniel, is I never began writing and I never continued writing with any idea that I was going to sell a whole lot of books. I was writing for myself, and
Okay.
I was writing for friends and family. And the fact that friends and family purchase the books and enjoy them is satisfaction enough.
Okay. So did your books like got a little bit popular over time?
Uh, Among a group, the middle two, the second one and the third one, are very military focused, and so my friends and family that are military focused really enjoyed them, and so they became more popular, and more of them sold, and many of them bought some and gave them to friends and that sort of thing.
I'm happy to hear that. Okay, at least it's going relatively well on that genre, if you want to call it like that.
Yeah.
So tell me, do you have any advice for new writers starting right now?
Hmm. Write, write, and write some more. Uh, that's the only way to do it. And join a writers group if you can find one. It will be, number one, it'll be very helpful for you in your writing progress, but it will also be encouragement to continue to write. It's definitely one of the, I consider anyway, one of the major uh, milestones in my progression as a writer is to have a writers group that you can depend upon the individuals to be your support.
Wow. Yeah, I have heard that some people do get some benefits from joining writers groups.
It's
Now
it,
with the internet, people just do use Bookstagram and stuff like that, and just communicate with authors around the world.
yeah, and there are a number of platforms that will allow you to do this. Are you familiar with AutoCrit?
Yeah.
That's an example of one that connects you with other writers, and you have the opportunity to share your experiences with them, and in many ways get feedback from them uh, if you decide to join. Uh, and
Okay.
there are AIs now that provide you with the support that was not available decades ago. You're familiar with Grammarly, I'm sure.
Of
Uh,
course, I use Grammarly.
and
I don't think it's truly AI. I just consider it like, how Word documents sometimes pointed out when a word was not properly wrote.
Yes, yeah, and if you've misspelled a word, it'll catch it. If you've left out a period, it'll catch it. If you've left out a comma, whatever, and that that helps. And in the editing, when you're going back and editing, and you begin to edit a sentence and you've done it wrong, it'll say, it'll suggest a better way of saying it. Probably, I only accept what Grammarly suggests maybe 50% of the time, because I'm more familiar with the way I say it rather than the AI says it. So,
Oh yeah, the blue lines.
yep,
I agree. Sometimes I leave some out because that might. I have seen that some of their ideas kill the emotion in some parts.
exactly. Yeah, it's too clinical. Yep.
Exactly. Sometimes you don't need, you need some text to be raw,
Oh yeah.
not just perfectly polished. It feels
Uh,
unnatural and inhuman when everything is just perfectly polished.
yeah.
That's
When
why
I
that's why
when I
AI books are not popular yet.
yeah I when I sent my first book into Kindle publishing, uh, I got comments back that my language was too raw, and I had to remind the editors that soldiers speak raw language. Their language is by its very nature very raw, and if you were to cleanse it, it would not be the same.
Fair enough. So tell me, what was the most difficult thing you had to struggle when you started writing your books for the first time?
Organizing. Uh, if you just write stream of consciousness, uh, you can get a lot of words and you get a lot of pages done, but it only makes sense to you. You have to organize it in a way that the reader can appreciate what it is you're trying to say and the emotions that you're trying to convey, and certainly the actions that you're trying to depict, either in the first person or the third person voice.
Right. So tell me, do you have like a writing routine? Are you a pre-planner, plotter, maybe improvise?
I'm probably a plotter in that I try to, in some ways, outline either on paper or in my mind what it is I want to do, and then when I deviate from that, at least I know that I have in fact deviated from it, and how I either recover or expand on that deviation.
Okay, okay. Well, for now, let's do some promotion. Can you tell us a little bit about your first book so our viewers maybe want to give it a go later?
The first book or the last book?
The first one. Let's start
The
from
first,
there.
well, the first one, as I mentioned, is a book of personal stories. It's personal stories from 28 years in the army, And the second part is 20 years in higher education, where I was both a professor and an administrator at a very large university. And the stories are about people that I met, circumstances that I experienced, and in particular, some of the more interesting people that I had a chance to interact with. I, for example, worked for two chairmen of the Joint Chiefs. I briefed President Reagan. Uh, it's those sorts of stories that I think lend a little bit of interest to the book. I spent 3 years as the defense attaché at the embassy in London, and I actually led the embassy team to Lockerbie when Pan Am 103 was blown up. So, it's stories like that that many have either heard only part of or have never heard before, and so it adds some dimension to the historical context.
Oh, I was going to ask you that because you mentioned that the third and the second book were very British oriented. So I was curious about your relationship with Britain.
Well, I actually worked with the British SAS in a couple of places in the Middle East, and then when I was in London, I worked obviously with the Ministry of Defense there.
Okay,
So
okay.
my connection with the Brits is pretty solid.
Are you a British citizen or
No,
or?
no.
Oh, so you're American with a British visa, maybe?
No. My great grandfather immigrated from Ireland in 1850, and so we trace our heritage back to Ireland.
Okay, okay. Do you have a story of how you named your books?
Well, you've heard the story about the first one, the fairy tales and war stories. The second one is Out of Time in the Desert, and it's a science fiction historical novel because an American unit from the 20th first century is thrown back into 1920 Mesopotamia and helps a British unit survive what historically was a total disaster. And the third book is again historical but science fiction, where an American unit is thrust back into 1840 in Afghanistan and helps a British unit survive what became a disaster historically. In fact, Ghost Soldiers of Gandamuk is the name of it. And in Gandamuk, in Afghanistan, a small detachment of British Fusiliers were wiped out. And in 2010, their bones were still there.
Wow. Well, at least they found the bones, I guess.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, which is your favorite book from the ones you wrote till now?
I think my favorite one is my last one, which is An Irishman's Odyssey, because it follows a young Irishman that has to leave Ireland, comes to the United States, experiences heartbreak and disillusionment, and ends up joining the army and ends up being very successful in fighting the Mexicans, fighting the Seminoles, and then ending up being a major figure in the American Civil War. He then goes back to Ireland and establishes a community there that is very, very much a significant contribution to the community that he left as a teenager.
Okay. Oh, that sounds cool.
Well, it draws upon my Irish heritage too. So.
Right. You mentioned your fight book. Can you tell us a bit about the topic? You don't have to spoil us.
You mean the fifth one?
Yeah, the fifth one. Okay. You don't have to spoil it. Just
no. It's about a young man's struggle to overcome his PTSD that he didn't know he had until he has to conduct the notification of death and then provide survivor assistance to families who've lost soldiers. And how he manages that and how he overcomes the challenges of his PTSD is basically the story.
Wow. That's interesting, especially the part that he didn't know he had PTSD till that specific event happened.
PTSD manifests itself very differently in each individual. Some people, whether it's an automobile accident or whether it's combat, uh, may not manifest that PTSD until something triggers it. Others may also experience that PTSD immediately after the trauma event. And PTSD is a psychological injury. And like a broken arm or an amputated leg, you don't cure it, you manage it. And that's the difference between a psychological injury and a physical injury.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Changing a bit of the topic. So tell me now that you have already published 4 to 5 books now, what's it like your largest dream or goal as an author?
Well, I think I would hope that my books are enjoyed by as many people as possible. That's my goal. As I said before, I wasn't in it to make any more money than I am. And when I do get the royalty checks, I end up splurging it on a dinner with my wife or something like that. But it's not. It was never intended to be a source of income. It was just enjoyable.
I get it. It's fair enough. Some people do that too. I have a guess like that. So, do you have like a top experience for interaction with readers? Like a very nice interaction that you still fondly remember?
Yeah, I think the best one was when one of the soldiers that served with me
Ah,
read the first book, which encountered and he recognized himself in the book, and he said that I told it much better than he could ever have told it.
uh, well, at least the person who told you the story is what is happy with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was quite happy with it. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear that too. So tell me, now that you are a full-time self-publisher, how do you handle marketing right now?
I don't really. I obviously you've seen my website.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
One of the things
it's a
that
nice website. It looks nice enough.
yeah, that's satisfactory for me. One of the things that I've done, if you've noticed on the website, if you sign up for my email list, I will send you an electronic copy of a book. You just tell me which book you want. I've marketed it that way, and I've probably got maybe 50 or 60 folks on the mailing list, and I have a blog that I use and send it to the mailing list, and those folks have all enjoyed the books that I've sent them. So yeah.
No, no, I think it's a solid strategy too. So you don't do anything in social media right now?
Not right now. I looked at the Facebook, the ads that you can run on Facebook, and I don't like it. And the first one I tried, I made the mistake of making it public, and I
Oh,
got all sorts of nasty comments. And I said, I don't have to put up with that, so I shut it down.
well,
Yeah,
so sad. Yeah, it does happen. Believe me, more times than you can imagine.
yeah. There's too many idiots out there, and I just don't. I don't have time for idiots.
And especially because our company manage art, you can imagine that the accusations constantly.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If they don't like something you've said, it's like throwing meat to wolves.
Well, yeah, especially with the AI panic right now. So everyone accused you of writing your book is pure AI or your voice AI.
Yeah.
Everything is AI.
Oh yeah.
First, AI books doesn't look like that. I
No.
know a
I've
true
I've
AI. Yeah.
I've read some short stories that have been written with AI, and it it glares. It just jumps out at you that this is clearly an AI written book. Uh, my one of my daughters is a English teacher, and too many of her students try to use Chat GPT to write their essays, and she puts a big fat failure on it right away because you can tell.
It is. You just have to pay attention. It's really not that difficult, at least
No,
right
it's
now.
not. No, it's not.
Especially because AI had this bad habit of using, those separation lines a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
They use them a lot. How do you know it's no AI? When you use elliptics a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's not grammatically correct. People just use that as a way to express certain emotions on the book.
Right. Right.
But as it's not grammatically correct, it's not AI won't do that.
No.
They won't do that. So yeah. So can you tell us again in which platforms can we get your books?
The first three. Well, if you go on my website, you'll see that I have a link to the purchase for each one of them, and the first three are available on Amazon. The other one is print on demand by can't remember what it's called, BookBee, whatever. And when you order the book, it's printed and shipped to you directly.
Oh, okay. That sounds nice. So, are you planning to go to any event, maybe to meet with other writers or maybe promote yourself a bit?
Well, we've had a couple of literary festivals in the area, and I go there and I have a setup, posters and sell my book and offer, discounts and offer them, sign up for my email list and you get your free book and so on and so forth. So yeah, I've had pretty good success. The last one was in June, end of June, and I think I sold 10 or 15 books of various type of the four that I have available that I have author's copies of.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh, do you have like social media where you update your situation, book, and releases?
No, I do that. I will do that on my website
Okay.
with the blog, and occasionally when I have a new release, as I did with an Irishman's Odyssey, I I put it on my website and not my website, but my Facebook account, and I publish it that way. And so all the folks who can see it know that the new book is out.
Okay.
I don't put any reviews on because that just generates too many comments by idiots, and it's not worth it to me. I just put out it's available, it's published, and that's it.
I will say that give it a try to private groups. On Facebook, there are many private groups that have filters and ban people that gets too aggressive.
I agree, Daniel. The challenge is that I have made my private group so small that those who are in my private group on Facebook are also on my blog list, and
Already, I get it.
it would be redundant for me to do both.
No, I get it. And you have to leave some flavor to the blog so people actually read it.
Right.
No, I get it. Oh, okay.
And that's one of the things. If you will tell me where this podcast will be posted, I can add that to my blog for this month.
Okay. Oh, that's a YouTube. Basically, we'll inform you after it's finished. We'll post this next week. This week
Cool.
we'll post another this girl we interviewed last week, and next Friday we'll post this, and
Okay.
we'll inform you and pin you maybe. So and then you can do whatever you want with that.
Okay. Cool.
That's perfect.
Well, that'll give Marquis some publicity as well as the books. Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Well, thank you so much, Tom. I think that's all for now. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, everyone, this was all for today. And we say bye to Tom. Bye, Tom.
Goodbye.
Thank you for joining us to another episode of Writing Inspiration with Marquis Books. Goodbye and see you next week. Bye.
Got it.
Tom really left an impression, and I want to mention some of the things we learned from him. Like you already have stories, more than you think. He wasn't sure if anyone will care about his stories, but his real-life experiences struck powerful chords. Whether it's humor, grief, or war, your life experience matter. You just need the courage to tell them. Another thing was that writing can be healing, especially in his case. Tom wrote about trauma, PTSD, loss, and survivor guilt. Topics that were emotionally hard for him to process and to express, but also important to confront. Writing gave him a way to honor what he lived through and help others in the same position feel seen. Well, thanks for coming and joining us today. If you find this episode inspiring, like, subscribe, and share the video. And give Marky Books a try in the link below. Have a nice day and see you next week. Bye.